Hello, everyone. I am Jen Ritchie, and this is Wildlife Conversations, a place to hear from new voices in wildlife photography and to build community outside of social media while we celebrate the wild. I want to take a moment to thank Roberts Camera and USEDPHOTOPRO for partnering with the podcast. With one of the largest inventories of new and pre-loved camera gear in the country, they have the gear you need at the prices you want. Visit robertscamera.com and use photopro.com to find the Roberts exclusive contact, Phil Gibson, and coupon code for Wildlife Conversations listeners in this episode's description. Well, I first met my guest tonight on a chilly trip in the interior of Yellowstone this year, but I have been following her work for more than 5 years. Her degrees in art history and her role at the National Museum of Wildlife Art give her a unique perspective, and it shows in her work. Whether it's capturing unique wildlife experiences in the landscapes of Grand Teton National Park or creating stunning portraits for couples and families, my guest tonight has a way of seeing light and mood that I just love. I'm excited for you to get to know my guest better and hear her story from one introvert to another. I welcome Madison Webb. Hi, Madison.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
I know I leaned over to you at our Yellowstone dinner and I'm like, I want you to be on the podcast. You were like, ah. And I knew that was like the face of an introvert going, what?
Yes, guilty as charged.
I know. I'm like, I'm going to get her to say yes. And you did. You're very sweet to say yes. I was going to show that we met in February, right? February of this year,
Yep.
for the first time in person. And we had a great trip with lots of ladies. And we saw a very young red dog out at one of the places. That was a really sweet baby, very sweet baby. But this is your image, and you can see how cold it was.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Gorgeous.
I remember just the contrast seeing that red dog in the snow. We were all shocked. I mean, February, it's like,
Yes.
he must have been born so late, but it was so touching.
Yes, it
And the
was.
snowfall was so gentle and gorgeous. And
Yes.
yeah,
And I still have so many images from that trip that I haven't even gone through. I feel like I'm just backlogged with everything starting from that trip forward.
yeah,
But we had some really amazing experiences with wolves chasing the big bison stampede, and it was a pretty epic day. It was an epic day.
it really was.
I know. I'm not going back this year. Are you going to Yellowstone this year?
Nothing planned, but
I
never
have
say
nothing planned.
never.
I know, that's
Yeah.
the same. Like if someone gives me a call, I will get on a plane. So where are you talking to us from tonight?
I am located in Jackson, Wyoming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
and we can all
yeah.
be envious. How long have you lived there?
I have lived here for almost 12 years.
Yeah. So if you're listening tonight, you can tell us where you're listening from and say hello. Christina's here. Mike is here. Thank you guys for your support tonight. And you can just say hello and say where you're listening from. I think we're going to have a great conversation tonight. And if you have questions for Madison, you can put them in the Q&A box, and we're going to get to those more towards the middle and end. But Madison, I said it in the intro, but you have such I've been following you for over 5 years, and always loved your work, portrait side and nature and wildlife side. And I just always feel like you have such a good eye for light and mood and composition. Um, so do you remember like what triggered that? What triggered your love for seeing nature in that way?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for your kind words. And I love your work as well. Right
Well,
back
thank
at
you.
you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I think honestly, shout out to my mother. And I mean, both my parents were nature lovers. And I think that how you were raised, I think can instill that love really early on. And I had a very unique childhood in that I spent 3 summers as a young child living on a fire lookout in the Payette National
Oh,
Forest.
wow.
Yeah, so it was just my mom and I, and it was, no electricity, no running water, and just us in nature basically. So
Oh, wow. That is unique.
yeah,
It's like
um,
having your own clubhouse up in the trees.
it is. Yep.
That is
And
so
so
cool.
just I think that exposure, it taught me early on. I remember, Indian paintbrush was my favorite flower as like a
Mhm.
5-year-old. It's like, what,
Oh,
you
wow.
know,
That is
um,
cool.
yeah. And there were thunderstorms where she would hold me on her lap and we would sit on a wooden stool that had glass canisters on the bottom because if the tower got hit by lightning,
Oh,
that was the
yeah.
way that it would, we wouldn't get
Oh,
electrocuted
yeah.
basically, and the storm would just rage around you. And then, epic sunsets and rainbows and wildlife. And
Oh,
so
my
I think,
goodness.
yeah,
You should write a children's book about this. I'm seeing a book, Madison. This is so cool. You have such vivid memories of it. That is so
I do.
cool. I love
Yeah.
that. I grew up next door to a funeral home.
Well, life and death, right? That's
Life
wildlife
and
too.
death. My dad was a funeral director. I know it's not quite
Oh,
the same.
there you go.
So then at 13, you had another sort of like life-changing thing. What happened at 13?
Yeah, it was one of those, again, as a young person, you sort of get these wild hairs and you're like, I want a camera for Christmas.
Hmm.
It's like,
Hmm.
okay, great. My mom's like,
Yeah.
cool, that's easy. And so I got a point and shoot little digital camera, very simple. And I remember going outside that same day and just photographing everything I could find. It was
Mm.
mostly cats and oak trees and nothing groundbreaking by any means.
Bill, you're practicing. Yeah.
I was, but I just loved it. And it
Yeah.
just kind of ignited. I think I always had this creativity that was dying to get out, but I cannot draw to save my life. And
Mhm,
I
mhm.
tried everything. I can't sculpt, can't draw, can't paint,
Yeah.
pastels, nope,
Same.
watercolor, nope, not going to
Same.
happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I had this appreciation for it and the eye for composition and light. And so I think I finally found something where I was like, this I can do.
Yes, that is
Um,
cool. That is so cool.
yeah.
That's the same with me. And my brother was the artist. He could paint.
Oh,
His whole room was like filled with, he had made like portraits on his walls and hung things from his ceilings and clay and all this stuff. And I just never really could find that thing until I found a
mhm.
camera, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm creative. I can find this medium that works for me. It's not
Yep.
just him, but he's also, you have 2 degrees in art history. And my brother's in art history, has 2 degrees in art history as well. He's working in New York, working in that field. But how do you
Yeah.
think that is so unique? And I read about your high school experience too, that you kind of had to kind of carve your own path in terms of art being photography being art, and then combining that with nature, and then the 2 art history degrees. I've heard this from other people too, that you kind of have to carve your own way, and then convince people that it's art.
Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
those degrees how did those degrees inform? It has to inform the way you're seeing the world.
Yeah. So I think, that camera propelled me. And then in high school, my junior year, I was lucky enough to go to a school that offered AP art history.
Mhm.
And I loved history. And I was like, well, this is History Illustrated. This sounds great.
Yes.
So I took that as at 7 a.m. and it after the camera, it was the most like life-changing experience probably that I had as a young person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I loved it so much. And it just kind of opened my mind to this whole other world. And I loved my teacher. And so
Mm.
senior year, I was like, well, I want more. And there was no more available, but
Yeah.
he taught AP studio art. And I was like, well, I like taking pictures. I'm not an artist. I don't think, but I asked him and I applied and I got in and I was the only photographer in the class. And so
Wow.
there would be studio sessions where they'd be painting and drawing and sculpting, and he didn't really know what to do with me. But we made it work, and I
Yeah.
I passed the class. I got a good grade actually, and that's what kind of gave me more confidence, honestly, to pursue it. And then
Yeah.
I went on to undergraduate, got an undergraduate degree in art history, and then went on to get a master's degree. So
Well, kudos to that teacher for
yeah.
seeing that in you and then saying yes. Because so many times it's just a no. We don't offer that, it's a
Mhm.
no, you know?
Yep.
So I love that. I love that that is available. I have a child, my youngest, that's a writer, and he's taken all the classes that you can take, and there's
Mhm.
nothing else. And I'm like the same kind of thing. Like, what's next? I see this gift, what are we going to do with it?
Yeah.
So when your eye is in the viewfinder, like how does that inform you when you're looking at light and composition? Like, just I'm sure your training is just there and you don't even realize it.
I
It's
think
just
so. I
something
think
with you.
you build a visual library,
Yeah.
and you understand, having seen works of art,
Hmm.
what strikes you, what moves you, and you may not even logically understand what it is about that composition, but I think you're able to sort of see that light again. Is it this cross diagonal leading line? Is it a beautiful S curve? You know, there's these
Mm.
certain classic compositions that humans are drawn to throughout the years, and we continue to replicate in different ways. And they absolutely exist in nature and wildlife art as well.
Yes.
And then obviously lighting and contrast and that distinction of light and dark and the way that we play with all of that. Um,
That is so cool. I just want to, when I walk through a museum with my brother, it's a whole different experience. You know, like
yeah.
he knows all the history of it. And then he can also tell me what's written on the back of the painting, like Gauguin this on the back, you know, things like this. It's so fun. But just to hear people like you talk about looking at visual images and art, it's just so inspiring to me. And like for my own work to think about it a little bit more and to study it a little bit more, you know, study good work a
Mhm.
little bit more. And you really get to do that as a job. You work at the National Museum of Wildlife Art in Jackson. And so you're combining lots of your passions together, which is pretty cool to be able to do that. So what do you do at the museum?
I am the chief marketing officer, and
Mhm.
I also am the show director for the Western Vision Show and Sale, which is super fun. It's our biggest
Oh,
fundraiser, and
yes.
we work with over 170 contemporary artists, not photographers, unfortunately,
Yeah.
but painters, sculptors, printmakers. So I get to sort of see and celebrate their work every year, which
Oh,
is
that is
really
so,
rewarding.
I told you I haven't been. I'm gonna have to visit.
It's definitely
I
worth a
keep
trip.
driving by. I loved the elephants this year in front of it. I know that was a
Yep.
traveling exhibit. That was we were driving by in May, my daughter and I wrote you. I'm like, I just saw the elephants. It was so
Yeah.
stunning. It was just stunning. So but you also you're cobbling a lot together as an artist. So you
Yes.
also are a full-time portrait photographer with weddings, couples, families. I'm sure there's more, whatever call you get. So
Yep.
that is a whole other side of your photography, and you have two Instagram accounts to show that. And I'm also a portrait photographer, and so I've told you today and then in the past, like I love how you combine those two branches. Like you just do it so seamlessly. So tell me a little bit about your portrait business and then how I'm going to show one of your portraits of a wedding. I think it's a wedding or an engagement, and I'm going to show that
Wedding.
while you tell me. But tell us a little bit about that work you do.
Yeah, well, I got my start doing landscapes and wildlife, and that's where I felt comfortable because as we've mentioned already, introvert. So in no way was I excited or thinking that I was going to work with people because
Yeah,
that's not my comfort zone. I didn't consider myself a people person. I didn't think I could do it.
yeah.
Um, and once my following on Instagram honestly got a little bit bigger, someone just reached out to me and said, "Hey, will you photograph my proposal?" I was like, "Ooh, I don't know." But then I was like, I mean, how much different can it be than photographing a moose? You know, like it's it's not a, especially a proposal because I'm like, well, it's a surprise. So it's not a stage, it's not a
Yes.
guide prompted moment. It's a candid capture. So I'm like, I can do this. Um, and I did, and I loved it. And then the rest is history, so to speak. But I think
I
another thing I would,
I am shocked, Madison. I am shocked. I never knew this. I never knew that it was because you just got a call. I am like, what? Your talent. If no one would have
oh,
called you, if no one would have seen this talent. This is crazy. This is
well,
just crazy.
honestly, yeah, I was afraid too because I
Yeah.
thought, in Jackson, there's so many talented wedding photographers, and
Yes.
I just thought, I have no business doing that, and I could never, I could never succeed, I could never compete, I could never. But I think the moral of the story for that, and honestly, I'm living testament to it, is there's room for everyone, and it takes a heck of a lot of hard work, and
Mhm.
don't shoot a wedding if you're not ready, but
Yes. Yes.
there is room for everyone, and I'm so glad that I followed that path because I get so much joy from it, and actually being an
Yes.
awkward introvert makes me a really good wedding photographer, um, because I'm able to put people at ease.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I am sure you're very good with that, working so intimately with one or two people like that.
mhm,
I think, I work better that way too as an introvert.
yeah.
I love the service part of it and like walking them through a process and being there for those moments. I do not do weddings. I've only done a couple, but I do love that part of portrait photography is the service and like that intimate relationship you have with them for those few weeks of the process.
Mhm.
But I am just shocked because this is, I don't know, people that are listening, this is a gorgeous scene in the Tetons. It's almost environmental portraiture. That's what it reminds
Yep.
me of in wildlife photography. We have the couple on a rock on this beautiful scene with the mountains all around them, the reflection in the lake. Is that Jenny Lake?
This is Taggart.
Taggart. Okay, I shouldn't give your locations.
That's okay. Taggart takes some effort, so if they're willing to hike it, then
Yeah,
they get to have
that
the
would, yes.
room.
But it's just a gorgeous image, so pretty. Do you find one of the questions we got beforehand was from, I think it was Karthik, yeah. And he says, how do you context switch between portraits and weddings and nature and wildlife? How does your brain do that?
Honestly, it's pretty much all the same because it's
Yeah.
all light, composition, beauty, and I approach portraits the same for the most part as I
Mm.
approach wildlife. It's all about framing the subject, whether it's an animal or a couple, as beautifully as you can within the landscape, or it's about isolating them and creating that gorgeous portrait where they are distinct from the landscape, right? There's those two approaches we do in wildlife photography that are the same in portraiture.
Yeah. So would that be your tip for people that are shooting 2 or 3 genres? Like do you have specific tips for people how to do that?
I mean, follow the beauty is honestly the tip.
Yeah.
Like, don't overthink it
Yeah.
and look for the good light. That will never let you down. It doesn't matter what you're shooting.
That's right.
Um, and I think focusing on what you're good at and what you're passionate about, no matter what the subject is, will lead you to the most success. I think
Yeah.
landscape has always been one of my stronger foundations. And so I bring that into my portraiture. And oftentimes when people hire me, they say, I love how you integrate your couples into the landscape. That's what we want. That's why we're coming
Mhm.
to Grand Teton. We could get
Mhm.
married anywhere. We want someone that's going to capture the beauty of the place and the emotion of this special event. So,
Yeah, it's right. And you do it so well. It's just
well, thank you.
breathtaking. And you've had magazine covers and all kinds of things. And I can't
Yeah.
believe that if someone hadn't called you,
I would have been too afraid. I would have
I
never would
know.
I have thought
I
that I
totally
could.
understand. Like that's what happened to me
Yep.
too. And I was not going to do portrait at all. And then
No.
someone like reached out, hey, do you do seniors or families? And I'm like,
Mhm.
do I? I don't know. I guess I do. I guess I
Mhm.
will. Yeah, I know. But I love how both your accounts just look so beautiful and kind of they keep the same branding to me. That's what I see.
Mhm.
I see the same branding, but it's the difference. Like you said, they're kind of the same, the portrait and the wildlife and nature. Yeah.
Yep.
So what is your go-to camera, your body and your lenses for wildlife and nature first?
Yeah. So I always my bag always has two Sony A9s.
Mm-hmm,
Right now
mm-hmm.
is what I've been shooting on for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Um, and then I have one with the G Master 2, 24 to 70 millimeter
Mm-hmm.
f2.8.
Mm-hmm.
That's an amazing lens for portraiture, for
Yeah.
events, and for landscapes.
Yeah.
And then my other body has the 85 millimeter f1.8 Sony.
Okay. Yeah.
Not the 1.4 because it's twice as much and it's zero point 0.4 more. You don't need that. Like
That's
that's
what I
my
think
other
too,
advice.
Madison.
No,
That's what I think.
no,
And I rented is it 1.2? I rented
yeah,
that and I was like, that's just way too much.
no,
I did not like it at all. I
yeah,
agree.
it's
I
silly.
think it's enough. I think it's
And
enough.
the 85 is one of my favorite lenses of all time, to be honest. And it's great for
Mhm,
wildlife. It's great for
mhm,
portraiture. It's actually really nice for compressed landscapes too.
mm,
And
mhm.
then at the bottom of my bag, I always have the G Master 1 to 400.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's okay, I'm doing portraiture, but if I see an animal
That's
and I
right.
need to switch, I have this in the bag.
It's so
Um,
true.
Yep. And I also actually like to shoot landscapes on the 1 to 400 too. Sometimes you can
Yeah.
get some really gorgeous compression, especially in
Yes.
the Tetons.
Yes.
Um, and then for wildlife specific, I do have a 600 that
Yeah.
I'll bring out, which is incredible.
Yeah, yeah. I love using my 400 for landscapes too, sometimes
Hmm.
compressed. I love doing that.
Yep.
And my 100 to 500. Yeah. It's just finding the scene and then compressing that scene. I love doing that too. Well, that's a great range that you have in your bag then. That's really good. And you're always ready.
Yep.
Always ready.
Yep.
Speaking of always ready, So I don't remember your story. I'm going to let you tell it, but I know you got a really special scene. You probably know what I'm going to talk about, but
Yeah.
everybody loves anything about 399. So tell us a little bit about this special picture. This is 399 in the snow and two sub-adults if you're listening. And one is looking like almost to the camera. But what happened here? How did you come upon them?
Yeah, this is a great story for a number of reasons, and all will be revealed. So I was sort of after one of my bucket list shots, which was Schwabacher Landing
Mhm.
in snow, right? There's a
Mhm.
short window of
Yes.
time when you can legally hike in after they've closed the gate and it's not yet closed for winter wildlife. So this was, I think, November 17th, and
Okay.
we had got a couple of inches of snow the night before. Forecast looked relatively clear. I was like, this is my window. So I
Mhm.
parked up on the highway. I hiked or walked in, which was a little treacherous on the icy descent in the
Yeah.
snow in the dark. Um, and this is where it gets a little bit funny. I stopped in the restroom in the parking lot there once I had walked all the way in, right? And I dropped my camera and it hit the concrete on that pad. And
Oh
my heart
no.
I just couldn't, yep. And I broke my landscape lens. And I was just devastated because I'm like, here I am. I've made all this effort and I just bumbled this, right? And
Yes,
made a
yes.
stupid mistake. I had my coat, my camera. I was trying to take these things happen.
Yeah.
And so I was so upset, but I was just like, well, I have my 1 to 400 in my bag and I only had one camera body at the time. So I was like, well, this is it. That's fine. The
Yeah.
lens you have is the best lens for the job.
Yeah.
So I switched it. I was still just so mad and kicking myself because I'm like, I can't get the shot I want now. I can't get the reflection and the mountains with this 100.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
So
that's
I'm so
right.
upset and I'm so mad and I am walking and fiddling and just so flustered.
Oh
No one
yeah.
else around, no one for miles. And I'm coming around the bend and the clouds aren't quite what I want either. And so you're just in that headspace of like, what have I done? I have these massive expectations. Nothing is going the way that I've planned.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
Mm-hmm.
guys are familiar with Schwabacher, you come, down from the parking area in the restroom, and I'm walking along the river there, looking around, fumbling with my camera, and I come around the bend to sort of go towards the iconic spot with the benches and the trees. And I just happen to look up, and 20 feet in front of me, across the creek, is 399 and these two cubs. One of them is standing, staring at me, and my brain just goes, bears, 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 bears.
Oh
And I
my
just couldn't
goodness.
quite compute because that was not on my radar. And I was
No, I wouldn't think
so,
of them down there.
no, I've never
Yeah.
seen them down there. I was so
Yeah.
frazzled. And, but then of course I reach back, bear sprays in my holster on my camera bag, pull the bear spray out with one hand,
Mm-hmm.
lift the camera with the other, and started taking pictures. Um, but then roll it back, right? I wouldn't have had the right lens if I hadn't
Right.
dropped my camera. And so it's
Yeah.
one of those
Yeah.
moments where you're just like, oh my gosh, like it
Oh
all
my
out in
goodness.
this unbelievable way.
All by yourself with
All by
them.
myself. And then they started advancing on me. And so that was the part where I was like, okay, I'm a little bit scared.
Yes.
But they weren't aggressive. They weren't running. They were just clearly intending to come the same way.
Yes.
And so I just slowly backed away, kept the bear spray in one hand, the camera in the other,
Yeah. Yeah.
continued to take pictures.
Yeah.
Um, and I just knew I wanted to get back to that bathroom because I knew it was
Right.
unlocked because I had stopped there. And so I was like, I
Yeah.
can get there and I'll be fine.
Yes.
Um, at one point, she stopped and they disappeared into the sage because the sagebrush was snow covered and it was so high. And I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't see them. I could literally just see her hump. And
Mm-hmm.
it was like the Jaws theme song playing in my head. And then she came through the sage and stopped, and we made eye contact. And she just stared at me. And I was like, she's deciding right now. And I was like, I'm not breakfast. I'm not breakfast. And I just said
Yeah.
it really
Yeah.
low and slow. And then she kept moving and I kept moving, and we just slowly made our way. And I got back to the bathroom and I watched them walk along and crest the hill and sort of move up and over towards the highway.
Oh
But
my goodness. Your heart had to be just
oh,
beating out of your chest. I would
yeah,
have, yeah. And the only person, well, I'm glad you're safely here.
yes,
And you had this beautiful moment with her. I mean, she's been around
so
humans so
special.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's so special. And those sub-adults, look how cute. That is so
Oh,
cool.
they were
And then
so, yeah.
you got this. I was thinking the same thing though. If you can get back to the bathroom, you're gonna be good.
Yep,
I
yep.
was
I was
just
like, I know
thinking,
I'm fine there. And I'm like, I know she's relatively safe, right? As far as
yes,
theirs
yes,
go.
Yeah.
but I'm also like, there's still 3 grizzlies and I have 1 can of bear spray. Like, I
That's
don't
right.
love those odds, but
That's right. Yes, of
yeah,
course. It's always best to just do the safe thing. Yeah.
yeah,
And then I want to hear this story too, because when you shared this picture, your moose picture at the same location, I have only seen a moose laying down there. I have never seen one standing, only one time. So this is like the dream shot. If you're
yep,
listening, it's a moose walking in front of the Grand Teton, the Grand, a reflection in the water and sort of environmental portraiture, but that reflection, beautiful clouds in the sky. Were you doing a portrait shoot at this time?
yes. So
Okay. Okay.
I had just finished a proposal,
Mm-hmm.
a surprise proposal, and I saw the moose in the corner of my eye off to the left. And I was like, okay, we're good, but I'm watching because this could be something really special very
Yes.
soon. Photographed the proposal, pointed out the moose to the couple because that's one thing actually I love about working with couples here is, we get to share this with them too, and people are
Yes.
so excited. Um, and this is the blessing and the curse of doing portraiture in the Tetons is there are moments like this that happen when I'm on another shoot. And so I have about 30 seconds to a minute to get a shot without taking time away from them. And
Yes.
so that's usually all I will take away. And there, of course, I wished I could have spent, 30. I would have stayed
Right.
forever.
Right.
But it's just I wait for that right moment and get the shot and then go right back to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, of course. Yes. So I'm sure this was a great gift to them though, as they're getting
Yes,
engaged and they turn in this moment. That is
they were
perfect.
so excited.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Did they take pictures too, or like have their
Oh
phones
yeah.
out? Yeah, I assume that they get their phones out too. Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
their special day, so you get to remember
Hmm.
that too. That is
Oh
really cool.
yeah.
It's a beautiful shot. And I was like, oh, it's just so happy that you got that because it's not easy at all. It's a lot of chance, a lot of
Hmm.
chance. I'm still
Yes.
waiting. I'm still
Moose
waiting.
don't listen. They don't take direction well.
No, they don't. Well, that's the one thing people do, but
Yes.
animals don't. But at least they don't talk back though. So,
No.
you have so many beautiful images, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of your wildlife images, the rest of them. But you were saying I think you were saying in before we got on, or like in the outline before, like you love just capturing maybe a species that you haven't captured before, even if it's not a big, charismatic megafauna.
Hmm.
I feel the same way. Like anytime I can have a moment alone with an animal and like, photograph something I haven't before, it's just special. It's still special, very special to me. But this is a porcupine in a tree looking straight at you. I think you entitled it Bad Hair Day. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Hmm.
It's so cool. And you got a skunk this year too.
Yes, I was very stoked about both of those. The porcupine, maybe more so. We thought it was an owl. I was driving around the park in May with one of my friends, and we were just looking for whatever we could see. And
Mhm, mhm.
I really wanted to see an owl, which means that you won't see an owl because that's the photography rules. So I should have known better. But we saw this sort of mass in a tree,
Yes.
and there was one other car pulled over. We didn't see anyone. And so she was like, "Oh, owl." I was like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh." And so we pull over and we're looking, and I'm like, "I think it's just leaves. I think it's just sticks. Like I don't think that's anything." And then we're like, "Wait, no, wait." And then we get out and we see the other photographer
Aw.
in the tree, but it was so cute.
It is so cute. And that's a really good
Yep.
photo of one actually, to get the full face looking right
Yeah.
at you. That seems rare to me. Like usually they're turned a little
Hmm.
bit, even to the side. And I've only seen them at night or at dawn when I just don't have enough light at all, even with the
Yep.
400 to get them.
Hmm.
So, but it's so cool to be able to see that. And it is like I love getting the smallest to the largest. It just
Hmm.
it's I just want to give every animal the same attention. I probably don't, but I want to. But they're harder to find, the little ones.
They're really
They're
hard.
hard to
Yeah, that I
find.
mean, I saw another one this spring, but I was on a portrait shoot and it just
Yeah.
lumbered out of a tree and I had
Oh,
but they're so funny. I just
yeah.
think they're yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anytime
he yeah,
the two times I've seen them, they're just like snuffling
they're
along.
yeah. That's what that one did. He did make me work for that shot. He napped for a long time. and then lumbered along the branch. And you're like, what? This is not a real animal. This is a
I
cartoon.
know. That's what it seems like. That's what it seems
Yeah.
like. It's so cool. I know that skunks seem to be around a while, and
Oh,
I know that I would see. I think I maybe saw that in the dark too. We kept seeing like stuff in the dark. We could not get it, but here's definitely an animal that people would like to get, and I don't know if this was our trip. I don't think it is our trip.
no.
Okay, this was different. I didn't think that we were on the wrong side
Yeah.
for that. Yeah, on the coach. But so this is a photo of a wolf, black wolf. Those eyes are stunning. So tell us a little bit about this image.
Yeah, this is one of the very rare moments where I went out looking for wolves and
Mm.
I found wolves in Grand Teton.
Oh,
Usually,
wow.
yeah, usually as a photographer, when you go out looking for a very specific animal, you will not find that animal,
Right.
as we all know. But they had been active and it was a Saturday and I called up a friend and I think we went out at like 2 p.m., which again, not the right time. But it was when we were free and I just wanted to get out and I wanted to try our luck. You just kind of get that like itch of like, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they were like 10 miles north of this. And we came around a bend and there were just two cars pulled over, but they were looking out like very clearly, you can tell when people see something. And so we pulled over and we're like, what are you guys looking at? They're like, wolves. We're like, oh, this is it. So, this is not a drill. So we pull over, get the big lens out, we're ready to
Yes.
go. Before I can even like roll my window down, a gray comes trotting just through this snow straight to the edge of the road. I mean, just like 15 feet across from
Oh,
us. And then he
wow.
kind of spooks at the cars and the traffic that's coming across the highway and it turns and goes back. And so we're like, okay, okay. And I didn't get a single photo of that, and you're like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, did I just miss it? Was that it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then of course we wait and we wait, we wait, and then this black comes back. And it was just incredible. You could just see him through the snow, undulating up and down through the sort of hills in the snow. And then this is right at the edge of the highway, just kind of paused and
It's
checked us
very
out,
cool. Very
checked out
cool.
the road. And then at one point he comes right on the highway, stands in the middle, stares at us. And then it was the right thing that happened, but in the moment you're like, why? A ranger comes up, flashes the siren, whole thing. Wolf runs away, but got the photo. Wolf was safe. Everything was good.
Yes,
So
everybody was safe. Yes.
yes,
So, did you have the 600 for this photo?
yes,
Okay. Okay. So you're still in your car with
we
a
were back. Oh
600.
yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Yes. So
yeah.
everybody's ethically photographing
Oh
that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
the ranger knows it's going to be a jam.
It's too
Yeah.
close, and he's in the middle of the road, which I'm like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
we don't want him to get hit by a car.
No, 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 no. Oh, that's so cool. I'm still waiting. I mean, we saw them this year whenever we did our Yellowstone trip. We saw them chasing the big, long herd
Mhm.
of bison and then trudging through the snow, which was so cool. And then we had them on the side of the coach and running alongside. I guess you and I had them on our left running, the one
Yeah,
running. So that was really cool. Hanging out the windows, filming that.
yes. Got terrible photos, but
I
it
know,
was
I
like
know.
had to.
Me too. It was like pandemonium though. People
Oh
losing
yeah.
their phones and but so much fun. It was so magical. I'll hopefully someday get a wolf. Hopefully
Oh
some.
yeah. You will.
Well, let's share another one of yours. And I wanted to do one of your landscapes because it was just so beautiful. This is a quintessential Teton photo, but you have to be at the right place, the right time.
Yep.
It's beautiful orange and purple and blue and gray sunrise and reflection. It looks like Schwabacher and just gorgeous. Was this portrait or were you just out on your own?
No, this was portrait.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is one of the benefits. I mean, I do about 175 shoots a year for
Oh
portraits and
my
weddings. And
goodness.
so I'm in the park a lot. I'm in the park, what is that, like a third of my
Yes, that's
time,
a
essentially?
lot.
So I'm bound to see, and that's the thing. I think people come here sometimes and they get disappointed because they see these incredible photos on Instagram and that's not what they experience. And it
Yeah,
really is, it is, yes, it's always beautiful here, but these shots are
yeah,
rare. Like
right,
this was one of the most beautiful sunrises I've ever seen, and I've lived here for over a decade. So
right, right.
yeah,
It's hard to
but
explain that because I only come out a few times a year. But even when these kinds of things happen, it's like extra special magical. And
Yeah.
it's hard to say that because every day is kind of magical. It's not
Yeah.
always like that. In this fall, we were getting double rainbows and like this candy colored skies one morning and the double rainbows. I'm like, this
Yeah.
doesn't happen. This doesn't happen every day. This is a pretty special morning. It's so cool. But this is just a beautiful example of you seeing that light. And then your couple gets to be in this beautiful light and have this is your background and you as their photographer. It's
Yeah.
so cool. So, so cool. I love it. I told you I'm going to have to come out and do some kind of like anniversary shoot, or I'm
Yeah.
just going to stand in front of the Tetons. No, I do not. Just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I would not want to do that. Not by myself. No. There's Jen standing for Madison in a photo shoot.
You'd look
So
great.
so this is a beautiful image. I don't know how you got
Thank
this
you.
background. Maybe you can explain it to us, but this is a mountain bluebird. I think mountain bluebird or Western.
Yep.
Yep.
Mountain.
Mountain bluebird on a twig or stick with beautiful
Mhm.
creamy peach background. Those colors. So that probably, are you thinking of color theory and things too as you look at images? Are you thinking of that with your artist's mind?
Definitely not in any sort of like seriously planned way, but I
Yes.
mean, orange and blue are on the opposite of the color wheel, right? So this is gonna
Yes.
pop more.
Yes.
Can I make the bluebird stand on the color background that I want? No.
Right.
So
Right.
but there's definitely an awareness of what's gonna pop more. If you have the opportunity to switch an angle or to shoot from the other side, then
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
Um,
Well,
and this
that
im
is gorgeous. The background is
Thank you.
so pretty in that. It's hard to
Yeah, and
get.
this is yep, the only way you get that is with this is 600 and
Yeah.
then nothing, directly behind it. So it's that serious compression. It's just grass. It's that
Yes,
golden
yes.
grass. This was
Oh,
actually at More
wow.
Monroe.
Wow.
Um,
Oh, wow. That is so
mhm.
pretty. Yeah,
But I
I
love,
immediately see the orange and blue.
yeah.
Yeah.
And bluebirds, I love photographing because it's one of those things you can do super quietly by yourself. You just find a quiet place. The longer you come here, the more you start to know where they like to be,
Hmm.
and you can just wait. And
Yeah.
unlike other animals that once they leave an area, they're probably not coming back. If a moose wanders off, like you don't sit and wait for him to come back.
Right.
But bluebirds, if you just sit quietly, they'll come back and they'll pose for you usually. It
Yes.
takes a lot of patience, but they're fun in that way.
Yeah. They sort of have patterns in places they
Yeah.
are. Yeah. Except that people do stop and ask what you see. And then
Yeah.
you
With
disappoint
their
them.
loud cars. And
Yes.
you're like, well, there was a bird and now it's gone.
They're always like, oh, it's a birder. What a nerd. What is she doing? I'll be like,
Yep.
just looking at the birds. I'm trying to photograph birds. Like, just
Yeah.
leave me alone for a second. Okay, we'll do one more. I want to do you sent me so many pretty ones. I want to do the otter because I love otters.
I
Are
love
they
otters
out
too.
right now in Jackson? Are they out in the park running around in the everything?
I maybe. I have the reason I love this image is because I have absolutely abysmal otter luck.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and so this I got to spend some really quality time with them last winter. And
Hmm.
the reason that I wanted to send you this image is because it just shows that like what you can't get as a photographer is often what means the most to you, right? There's plenty of photographers who shoot otters all the time. They have better otter images than me, and that's amazing for them. But for me, this is so special.
Right.
And I love just the way he inched out towards the edge of the very thinnest ice, and you can see its face reflected there.
Hmm.
But the other hilarious thing about this is across from the Dairy Queen. And so it just goes to show you that you may not see wildlife where you expect to, and it may
That
not be the most
is amazing.
yeah, picturesque. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the iconic mountain lion across from the Maverick. I also photographed that. And
Yeah.
so there's just these moments where you have wildlife human collision.
Mhm.
Um, and it's so funny because I'm like, I'm seeing this incredible thing, but I'm literally like, this is bizarre.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah,
I've definitely done that before. I've definitely been across from the Dairy Queen
yeah.
shooting swans or pelicans or whatever's there.
Hmm.
Thinking, like, I hope no one in this apartment building is bothered by me, because it's like I just want to get these swans, but I wasn't even
Hmm.
thinking of otters. That's so fun. His face is so cute, or her
His
face.
face was so
So
cute. They were
cute.
so funny.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the otters there so much. I didn't have that great of luck this year, but always trying, always trying.
Hmm.
So how do you think, we talked about being introverts, how do you think that makes you a better photographer? Do you think it does?
Probably because we're comfortable being alone and being quiet for long periods of
Mhm.
time, right?
Mhm.
So much of photography is just looking and driving and waiting
Yeah.
and sitting and hoping. And so
Yeah.
just being comfortable with your own thoughts and being alone and being, enjoying that silence, I think helps.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's a sometimes a there's a juxtaposition between the social media part, but the need to be alone. I hear that from other people too. Like, I love being alone in nature, but the social media part of posting my stuff and just kind of letting people know what I'm doing, and then, commenting and saying thank you and all that to everyone. That's kind of hard for some people too. I know, if they're introverted. Not that all nature photographers are introverts, but it seems like a lot of people are. So it's so interesting. So if you have questions for Madison, please put them in the Q&A, and we're going to get to those too. But you can put them in the Q&A box or in the chat, and we're going to get to those. But I also wanted to ask you, so if you could pick a theme song for your vibe as a photographer, or a song that is you, what would it be?
Yes, I'm glad you prepped me for this question. So yeah, full disclosure, it's not that I just knew this off the top of my head. No one does. Uh,
But I picture
so
you liking music.
yeah, I do. But the
Yes.
problem is I love the sadder, the more depressing, the more I love it. And so I was like, how do I pick a song that's not like incredibly, I'm not a horribly depressed person, but I just really love sad music.
Yes, yes.
But I found one that I think is a good answer, which is
Okay.
Daylight by Taylor Swift.
Oh, yes.
And part of it, like, okay, after this, go listen to it, read the lyrics.
Yes.
Basically, starting from a dark place and coming into the daylight is kind of the moral of the
Yes.
song. But she also
Yes.
talks about like she thought love would be black and white, but it's golden. So that plays into my portrait photography. She talks about
Yes.
running with the wolves, which I'm like amazing. But the end, I'm just gonna read this.
Okay. Yes, please
She
do.
says, I want to be defined by the things that I love, not the things I hate, not the things I'm afraid of,
Mm.
not the things that haunt me in the middle of the night. I just think that you are what you love.
That is very good. And I mean,
So
that's speaks to me and my personality, just because I can go to that melancholy very easily. And I have to remember to go to what I love, not what's bringing me
mhm.
down, or what, you know what I mean? Have you
Yep.
ever done anything with the Enneagram just by chance? Do you know that?
Yes.
Do you know your number? Do you
Yes,
know? Can
I do.
are you a 4?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. I studied that a lot. I have studied Enneagram a lot, and I don't bring it up much on here. I know people, I think Jenny Cannon brought it up because Maureen and I know our numbers, but I'm a 4 as well. So as soon as you said, I love sad songs, I'm like, she's a 4. I know she's a 4.
Creative, loves sadness, likes to be
Yes.
alone, but kind and intuitive. Yeah, we're fourths.
That is so funny. As soon as you said that, I was at a Gregory Alan Isakov's concert one time,
Yes.
standing. It was a small venue, standing there, second row, very, very close, intimate. And he's like, I just love to sing sad songs. And I'm like, yeah, he's probably a
We
4.
love to hear them.
We love to hear him. That's why I'm here. Well, let's do the speed round, because
Okay.
I could just talk to you forever, but let's do the speed round. And then if you have questions, anybody, please ask them in the Q&A. But besides your camera body and your lenses, is there something in your bag that you can't live without?
Chapstick.
Yes, I agree. I always have Burt's Bees in my guide pants pocket, especially in Jackson. I just always feel
Yep.
like it's dry. It's so dry there. Do you have a kitten walking around? Because you can show her if you want to.
She's right here. Let's see.
I can tell
She's
I can tell
hi,
Madison
little
got a new
ma'am.
kitten. Oh my goodness.
This is Arwen. She's very cute.
Oh, so sweet. So sweet. My son has 2, and so they get to come over. So I love that. They just left after the holiday weekend. But so is there something in your bag that you thought you would use, but you never do?
No, only because I carry it around for all of my portrait shoots, and so if I don't need it,
Yeah.
I'm not going to carry the weight.
Yeah, that's right. Especially if you're going to places like Taggart and things like
Yeah.
that. That is a lot. I do wonder that when I look at your work. I'm like, how long did they walk? That's, it's far.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about that, but I don't have to go like on mountain hikes. Um, I've always also wondered about Schwabacher when you told that story about 399 in the winter. I've
Mhm.
wondered that if you can walk down there, and like there are specific rules about it once the gate
Yep.
is closed. Okay.
December 15th through April 15th is closed for winter wildlife refuge, so
Okay.
you cannot enter it. But they put
Okay.
a big orange sign up that says that.
That's good.
So before that, if they close the gate to cars, sometimes they close it in October, sometimes November, you can still walk in. You just can't block
Okay.
the highway or park anywhere illegal. But
Okay. That's interesting. Is that the
yep,
same for any gated place? That's what I've wondered about. Or is it you
I
just look for
think
the
so.
sign? Just look for
You
the
can
sign.
always check the
Yeah.
refuge closures on the website. They tell you
Yeah.
what areas get closed to human entry. They usually put a sign up, but
Yeah. That's so interesting. That's good. And they can just have
mhm,
peace all winter and
yeah,
be down there frolicking around without us and our cameras.
yes.
Okay. So favorite snack while editing or driving around?
For driving, I would say peanut butter pretzels.
Oh, interesting. Like the ones with the peanut butter in the middle?
Yes,
Okay. Yeah. Oh gosh, those are addicting. Yeah.
yes.
And do you have a favorite drink?
I usually go with water or I like seltzer waters.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yeah.
usually take one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. And then is there a photographer or artist or book or that inspires you? I'm sure there are since you have
Many, of
yes.
course.
Yes.
But the one that's kind of my go-to is the book Wild by Cheryl Strayed. There's a quote in that that is again kind of one of those life-changing catalyst moments for me
Mm,
that has always
mm,
stuck with me,
yeah.
which is there's always a sunrise and always a sunset, and it's up to you to choose to be there for it.
Yeah.
Put yourself in the way of beauty.
Oh,
So I underlined it the minute I read it, and it just sort of stuck with me of like that's it. And as a photographer, that's what you do. You just put yourself in the way of beauty and you have to show up. And
yeah.
if you're not there for it, then you miss it.
Yeah. So those mornings when it's cold and you're laying in bed,
Yep.
you think, I've got to get up and be in the way of beauty.
Yep.
That's really good. I'm struggling with that right now here in Indiana. We've had beautiful snow the last 5 days.
Hmm.
I think more snow than you guys have. So,
Probably.
but it's like I am really struggling getting out there and like I think it's hard because it's just, I tried one day and I have a lot of clutter here in the forests and
Mhm.
just a lot of squirrels, which I love. I love squirrels. A lot of squirrels, a lot of white-tailed deer, which are very skittish. So I think it's just hard when I love the Tetons, love being in the Tetons, my favorite place to shoot. And then it's just hard. So that's a good reminder to us. You have to be out there. You're not going to get the image and to
Yep.
put yourself in the way of beauty. That's good. I should reread that. I read that a long time ago. I should reread that. That's a good book. That's a really good.
She's yeah, she also wrote Tiny Beautiful Things, which I highly recommend. There's just
Okay.
she has a way of writing those like one-liners that just hit your soul and you're like, "Yep, that's okay.
Yeah.
Needed
I
that."
haven't read that one. I'll do that. I'm
Yeah.
now that portrait season is over for me pretty much here in Indiana for a while, it is time for me to read again and I get my book list going again. I used to read so much, but I'm sure just like you're doing so much with portrait and with wildlife and continually teaching yourself all of that, that sometimes I feel like I'm just reading that kind of stuff instead of
Hmm.
reading for fun. So I've got to do that again. But
Yeah.
that was good. Very good. Um, is there a moment in wildlife that made you laugh?
Oh, so many. I mean, otters are hilarious.
Mhm,
Fox kits are hilarious.
mhm,
Um, I guess an animal that I have never photographed still
mhm.
is a pine marten, which very
Same,
frustrating.
same.
And I was hiking around String Lake one morning in July at like 5 a.m. for sunrise for
Mhm.
landscapes. I was going to a specific spot and I got that prickly feeling that something was watching me. And so I stopped and I turned around and there was a pine marten right behind me in the middle of the trail. And I was just like, "Oh!" And I tried, literally just tried, grab my camera, and he's just like, ha, and runs away. And I
Yes,
just had to laugh out loud because I was just like, son of a gun, like
I know,
just right
I know.
behind me.
Yes.
Um, so I just laughed because you missed those shots, but he was so cute and I got to see him and it was that moment of connection. But
Yes,
yeah.
yes. The same thing. I've never photographed one.
Oh,
And I've had the same thing. I was on Jenny Lake and one popped through the rock and looked at me and I'm like, press the shutter and it goes low battery and nothing happened.
oh,
Yeah. And then
knife to
the
the
same
heart.
thing, just gone, just gone. And I'm like, well, I saw one. I actually saw
Yep.
one. But they are so cute and so
So cute.
fast. I know. Someday we'll get it. Someday. I don't know when I will.
Yep.
So is there a wildlife moment that you can think of that really touched your soul or was just really emotional for you? I know that so many of us have like I say like it's a tool in our hand, but it's so much more than that because it's so much about motivation and emotion and even about like our mental health.
Mhm.
So is there a moment you can think of like that?
I mean, so many, to be honest. Like, there are so many sunrises where you don't know what you're gonna get, right? And so it just unfolds in front of you, and you just feel this, like, incredible sense of gratitude for the world,
Yes.
and there's this strange complexity too, because if you're going through a really hard time in your life and then you see this beauty, there's this weird feeling of, like, it shouldn't be so beautiful, right? The world shouldn't be this pretty when it's so hard.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but then you also appreciate that it is still so beautiful and there is this beauty out there.
yeah,
So I think a lot of the landscapes really move me in that way because they're
yeah,
so fleeting. Um, and then the 3.99 moment, I mean, that was just like, I think the combo of fear
yeah,
and joy and being alone and seeing her and connecting and just feeling that, like, you know, so
yeah. It's
yeah.
amazing. And you had it to yourself, which is
Yeah.
so rare, especially with that bear. I know
Mhm.
that, people have had those moments, but they're rare and you worked for that moment.
Yes.
Even though it was a surprise, you
Yes.
worked for that moment. So are there, besides the pine marten, are there goal shots you have in mind? Are there things that you still want? I mean, I know there are, but do you have some in mind?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely species that I haven't photographed or that I haven't photographed as well as I would like to. Definitely
Mhm,
pine marten owls, I have terrible luck with. I would love
mhm,
to get some better great gray
mhm,
photos or some of the smaller owl species. Someday I would love to go to Alaska to see the bears. I know you've done that twice, I think.
mhm. Yes.
So that's on my bucket list for sure.
Oh, you would love it. You would love
Yeah.
it. Especially like Hallow because it is like that feeling of
Mhm.
there's no one else in the world but you and the
Yeah.
animal. There are a few people with you, but you feel like you're in this little paradise. And it is
Yeah.
kind of like, how can the world be this way when this exists? It
Yeah.
is very much like that. And you're just it is kind of like an emotional or spiritual feeling. It's like, I don't understand how it's so peaceful here and it can't be like this in the world, but it's so, so pretty. Yeah. I went with Siler this summer. It was so good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Siler's from Jackson too. Yeah.
Cool.
So, and then do you have big plans for 2026? Or this is what seems hard to me is that if you live in Jackson, you're already in one of the most beautiful places in the world. Like, you have to probably make an effort to, like, I need to leave. First of all, you're working really hard,
Yeah.
with several jobs, but you have to make plans to leave and go to maybe do other things, like find other goals. So, are there things that you have in mind over the next year or two that you'd like to
I
do?
mean, mostly I'm just hustling, to be honest, I
I
think,
know,
but
I know you are. Oh my
which is
goodness.
why, people say, "Oh, I'm so jealous that you live in Jackson," and it's like, well, yes, I work 3 jobs. That's how
That's
I live
right.
in Jackson.
Right.
And it is hard for wedding season. I mean, you really can't. I shouldn't say can't. Some people are able to, and they carve out that time, and kudos to them. Good work-life balance. But pretty much I don't leave from May until end of October now, really, is
Right.
wedding season.
Right. Yeah,
So, but we try and take one big trip a year. We went to Mexico City in May, which was
that's
just
right.
filled me up. It was so
Yes.
incredible.
You had beautiful
Uh,
photos of that. Yeah.
yeah.
That was fun.
So we might go to Scotland this spring. That's kind of
Oh,
on my,
nice.
yeah.
Nice. Yes, that's
So,
on my list too, just because the ancestry and I
mhm.
love England and yeah, I think I would like that too. And there's otters there.
Yeah, I think I saw Marianne posted some. I was like, oh,
Yeah, yeah. So talk to Maureen Matson because she has
yeah.
been and she knows good guides there to talk
Okay.
to go find otters and she really recommends them and is friends with them now. So
Awesome.
yeah, it had a wonderful experience. She's been posting those this week again. So it's a really good experience. So I would love for people to be able to find you and follow your work because it's so good and you're working so
Oh,
hard. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I had no idea you were doing like 175 clients. That is a lot. That is so much. I just have
Yeah.
I'm only doing like, I don't know, not that many. I'm very part-time at portrait, but if I had the Tetons, I think it's also, I wanted to say this to you too. I love that your attitude of abundance when it comes to that, because it's
Yeah.
hard to run a small business. I mean, you're running a small business
Hmm.
and photography can be competitive in wildlife and in portrait.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important what you said. Like there's enough and there's a person for each client
Yeah.
and there's a buyer for each print, and people pick your work for a reason. And it's a good reminder to have an abundance mindset instead of scarcity because it gets
Hmm.
so easy to do. It is
Yeah.
for
It's
me.
hard.
It is for me.
Yeah. It
And
is
my
hard.
four personality. But anyway, I would love for people to know where to follow you and support you. So how would they follow you if they want to see your nature and wildlife work?
Yeah, it is at Miss MS_Madison is
Mm-hmm.
my wildlife and
And
landscape Instagram,
yep.
and portraiture is Madison Webb Photography.
Yeah. So people go and follow both of those. And if people want a print, they can just contact you through there. You have a website as well, right?
Yep, MadisonWebbPhotography.com, and there's prints available on there.
Yeah. Yep. You have prints there. And if you, how far do people have to book out if they want like a session with you? Do they need to
Depends
contact you?
on Yeah, it depends on the time of year. I have a
Yeah.
contact form on my website, but weddings and some high summer things will book 6 months to a year in advance. Sometimes
Yeah.
other sessions in the winter, I have more flexibility, but
Yeah. Yeah.
generally you want to book 2 to 6 months in advance.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. Yeah, I have the same with grad, like it's just certain
Yeah.
seasons, like grad
Hmm.
seasons and stuff. It's tougher to get in, but
Yeah.
yeah. So if you want to look at Madison's work, please follow her on Instagram, and maybe you need to have a couples shoot or a wedding shoot. Maybe I need to renew my vows, get out there. I don't think I can talk my husband into doing that, but it was so good talking to you, Madison. I'm so glad we got to see each other again, and I hope to see you again when I'm in Jackson. That'd be so fun. Maybe someday I'll live out there too, and I'll be hustling out there too.
Yeah, come
I
on
gotta think.
over.
I'm like, I'll do anything. I'll do anything. Just somebody hire me for something. I'll just live out there and do anything. But I've got one more in high school, but hopefully someday.
Awesome.
But hopefully we can see each other in person again. And I hope to see each other and just continued success to you and continue. I love your work so much. So I'll just
Oh,
keep following you and liking all your stuff. But um
thank you.
next coming up, I do have kind of an announcement. Like we're
Oh
starting
no.
a different kind of a branch, an education branch, to go alongside wildlife conversations. So I'm going to be having some guests on teaching. And so it's kind of like affordable coaching and teaching for Lightroom and all different kinds of wildlife subjects. And so my first guest will be in January, and Siler Peralta Ramos will be my first guest. So I'm really excited. That will be January. I think we're going to do January 27th or 28th, but please watch for information on that, because I really hear more and more people saying, how do I find a mentor and how do I do that? And so I'm trying to provide a way for people to have some mentoring and coaching. So we're going to do that. And then if you'd like to support the podcast, you can follow me at Jen L. Ritchie on Instagram, or you can follow the podcast at Wildlife Conversations Podcast. And you can follow on Apple, Spotify, and also on YouTube, which is under Jen Ritchie Photography. All the episodes are there. I think you're my 41st episode, Madison. It's going like
Oh,
there's been a lot. It's going
you're
fast.
crushing it.
I hope there's so many fun people to talk to. So, and I want to thank Robert's Camera one more time for supporting the podcast and just being so supportive of me as well. It's truly a blessing to me to have them alongside. And don't forget that we have a dedicated contact, Phil Gibson, and a dedicated code for us. So you can find that in the episode's description. But again, Madison, I just thank you so much for being on, and I wish you the best holiday season. It's so pretty in Jackson in the holidays. I'm
It
sure the
sure is.
square is all lit up already.
Yep, very festive.
Yes, I'm used to being there at this time, so I'm feeling a little FOMO, but
Oh,
hopefully next year. So,
yeah,
but thank you
definitely.
so much for being on, and let's
Thank
connect
you.
again. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks
definitely.
everybody. Oh,
Thanks.
thank you everybody. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye Madison.